This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so what is the topic of discussion? What we will do is we will quickly walk through the basic R/3 architecture and the elementary concepts that we need to be clear about when we are working the ABAP program environment. What are the basic concepts related to programming? Start with the R/3 architecture. Start with SAP. We know SAP basically stands for systems, applications, and products in data processing. Okay, systems, applications, and products in data processing. It is okay. I've told it on the first day. It's a ERP system and all this and blah blah blah. I don't want to walk through that. So generally, when we talk of the SAP system, if you look at the history of the SAP system, it started out somewhere in 1979. We had the first type of SAP system called the SAP R/2. This was using the R/2 architecture. R/2 is real-time architecture. Okay, we have real-time two-tier architecture. It was not, I would not say it was not very popular or something. At the time when SAP came up with this revolutionary idea of an enterprise application in 1979, the only type of machines that could deal with it was no, the R/2 system. It basically consisted of a presentation layer and an application layer. The backend or the processing layer was a mainframe system. In those days, the mainframe system was the only type of system which could manage such large processing. Okay. By early 90s, okay, we can say 91 or 90s, early 90s, we started having the next step major change in the SAP system. It moved from R/2 to R/3. This is where the R/3 architecture came up. Real-time three-tier architecture. Okay, so since then it has been R/3 architecture only. Okay, though the name of the system has changed many times, in 2004, SAP renamed its SAP R/3 system to ECC, SAP ECC. Okay, this is also R/3 only. Don't get confused. And in 2015, they came up with SAP S/4HANA. S/4HANA. This is also R/3 system. Everything is an R/3 system. Some people think S/4HANA is an R4 system and all kind of nonsense is discussed. Not true. S/4HANA is also R/3 system. We need to understand what is there in this R/3 system. R/3 basically talks of three tiers of the architecture. Okay, so what are the three tiers? We have the application layer. Oh, sorry. We have the presentation layer, application layer, and the database layer. Okay, we have the presentation layer, application layer, and the database layer. These are the three layers of the R/3 system. Okay, these are the three layers of the R/3. What is the presentation layer? Presentation layer is nothing but your user interface. Okay, user interface, the front end from where we are interacting with the system. Okay, so you can say it is responsible for the input output operations. All your IO actions are done from the presentation. So last 3-4 days you have been looking at the SAP system, the front end of the SAP system, from where you access the system. The most commonly used user interface is the SAP front-end GUI, SAP GUI. Okay, what we have here. This is your SAP GUI. Okay, from here, using this SAP logon, we are connecting to the system and working with the system and doing things. Okay, this is my SAP logon. This is my front end software. When I double click, it opens up this interface that you are seeing. This is my presentation layer. This is where input, I input information and it will give me results. No processing takes place in the presentation layer. Presentation layer will not do any processing. The presentation layer will not carry out or will not perform any processing of the data. It will just take input and give you back output. Presentation. The next one is the application layer. This is the key part. The application layer is the server. Okay, this is the heart of the SAP system, responsible for processing all the ABAP requests. All the ABAP request that is coming up is processed in the application layer. And then finally, we have the database layer. Database layer is any RDBMS system. Okay, this will store all the data and application. Everything is stored in the database. Both the data that is generated by the system as well as the application, the programs are stored in the database. Everything is stored in the database. Okay, so that is how we have these three layers: the presentation layer, the application layer, and the database layer. The presentation is the user interface, the application is the server, the heart of the system, and then you have the database, which is storing your data. Okay, it was the advent of the database which revolutionized from R by 2 to R by 3. Okay, in 90s, why did SAP go for R by 3? SAP went for R by 3 because it started noticing very effective databases in the market, which allowed you to break down the system further and reduce the hardware complexity. Mainframe systems and all were very complex, expensive. How do you make systems cheaper, hardware cheaper, and make it reach a larger reach for the system? So that is where the database had a very important role. The tragedy part was that from the 1990s all the way till 2015, SAP did not have any database of their own. We were using any RDBMS. What does RDBMS stand for? RDBMS. Relational Database Management System. That is what RDBMS stands for. Relational Database Management System. Okay, so for a very long time period, we were relying on any RDBMS. So if you look at customers, companies used to use different RDBMS. Some is using Oracle, some are using Sybase. Whatever RDBMS available in the market, you could go ahead and use it. Okay, it was only in 2015 when SAP launched S4 HANA, SAP started using its own database. HANA is the SAP database, proprietary database. So it started using it. Okay, but the three layers continue to remain the same. You have the presentation, you have the application, and you have the database layers. Okay, these are the three layers of the SAP system. So if you check for the R by 3 architecture over the internet, you will get very similar or very standardized image of these three layers: presentation, application, and database, highlighting what each layer does. Okay. So when it comes to ABAP programming, for us also these two layers are very important. See, all our ABAP program is going to get executed in the application layer. Okay, all our ABAP program is going to get executed in the application layer. Okay, try to fill one. These are the standard images that you come across. You have the presentation layer, application layer, and the database layer. Presentation layer is the user interface. Application layer is the server where all your processing is taking place, and database layer is the backend database where information is stored and with diagrams. If you look at your application layer more detailed, so okay, this diagram is nice. He has spoken about more detail. What are the things you see? You have something called as dispatcher. A dispatcher is nothing but a queue manager. Multiple people are requesting some action from the front end. Okay, a number of people are logged in into the system at any given point in time. They are all sending requests from this, from that, like that. So the dispatcher is a queue manager managing the queue. What it does is manages the queue and then allocates the work to what is called as a work process. This WP that you are seeing, it's called a work process. It is in the work process that the program executes. The work process will take the ABAP request, execute the ABAP program, and generate the output. Okay, it executes the ABAP program and generates the output. The output generated will then be sent back to the front end. And what is important here from an ABAP perspective is, see your ABAP your ABAP program is not running here in the front end. The ABAP program is running here in the application layer. So you cannot stop your ABAP program once you execute it. Once executed, you have to wait for the end results to come. Intermediate results are not displayed. Okay, intermediate results are not. You cannot stop your program in between. Once executed, you will have to see the end result. Another challenge that we face is, if suppose you write a program with infinite loops and all, that is, your program is never going to end, then you are not going to see any result. It will run. These work process are time stamped. Okay, they cannot run infinitely for one program. They will run for a fixed amount of time. If an output is not generated within that time window, then it will discard the program. It will simply dump the program and move forward. Okay, it will simply dump the program and move forward. That is the idea with respect to work process. This work process is responsible for interacting with the database. Whenever you have written some query, yesterday we saw writing a query. Whenever you write some query or some interaction with the database, it will interact with the database and fetch the information and bring it back into the program. Okay, so a work process is a very important component. When you sometimes see your programs running very slow, it is because there is too many users sending too many requests and all the work processes are engaged. So your program is waiting in a queue to get a freely available work process which it can take and process. Now the best part of the application layer, it's a scalable component. Here, the way he has given the diagram. You have an application layer, it can handle 10 users. Tomorrow you are increasing users to 20. You can again set up one hardware on the application layer which can handle another 10 users, another 10 users. It's a very, very scalable system. You can constantly increment the hardware sizing of the system to accommodate or adjust more and more people. Okay. So that's the idea with respect to the R/3 architecture, the 3 lanes. Everybody should be aware of this. A very important piece of information. What is the R/3 architecture? Real-time 3-tier architecture. What are the 3 tiers? Presentation, application, and database. Presentation is the front-end user interface. Application is the backend server, which is responsible for processing the program. And database, where all our information is stored. All the information, everything, including the ABAP programs that you write, is stored in the database. That's why our ABAP programs are not stored as files with some extension. Stored directly into the program, into the database. Everything is going and sitting in tables in the database. The table will become very, very important in this. Okay. Now, coming to elementary programming constructs. What are the basic programming constructs that we should look out for when we are dealing with any programming language, not just ABAP? Every programming language focuses on three elementary constructs. One is what are the data types it supports, what are the operators it supports, and what are the control statements it supports. Okay, what are the data types, what are the operators, and what are the control statements. Data types, operators, and control statements. Okay, so when we talk of data types, we have two broad classifications: predefined and user defined. Okay, under predefined we have character based and number based. Under character based we have character, numerical character, date, time, and string. Okay, we have character, numc, numerical character. We have date. Okay, this is fixed length dd. And then you have time, hours, minutes, and seconds. And you have string. String is also character data type. Difference is character data type is static length. You need to mention the length when you are defining it. String is dynamic length. Static length, dynamic length. Okay. When it comes to number-based data types, we have integer, we have float, floating point numbers, and p, packed decimals. Okay, of this, integers are whole numbers, no decimal value. Float and packed both are decimal values. And both of them are used for holding decimal values. Float and packed decimals. But packed decimals are ones which we commonly use because float stores the number in exponential format. Suppose I want to store 4.21 in floating point, it will be stored as something like this. Same here would have been 4.2. Okay, the floating point numbers hold the value in exponential format, not use the normal mathematical format for holding and storing and displaying the numbers. What's the difference between float and packed? So packed is what we generally use. Generally, we use the packed decimals or decimals as it is popularly called. Okay, so under the predefined data type, these are the commonly used data types. Available data type, these are the ones. Characters, numerical characters. What is this numerical characters? Numbers stored as characters, 0 to 9. Numbers stored as characters. Why do you want to store numbers as characters? You want to store the contact number of a person. It's a 10-digit mobile number, is a 10-digit number, but I don't want to perform any arithmetic operation on it. Sales order is a 10-digit number. I don't want to do any arithmetic operation. When you have such case, you make use of numerical character or numc, as it is popularly called. Okay. So character, numerical character, date, time, and string. Date is fixed length, dd. Time is fixed length, hours, minutes, and seconds. Difference between character and string is character is static length. That is, you need to mention the length, the number of characters you want to have in the variable. If you don't mention the length, the system will by default allocate single character, one character for the char data type. The string is dynamic length. That is, at runtime, whatever you store in the string, it will accommodate. At least technically or theoretically, it is infinite length. There is no length sign restriction. Whatever you want, you can store in a string, however long or big the text is. But it all has upper limit. I have seen it not exceed beyond 2500 characters. Beyond 2500 characters, string will behave ad hoc. Okay, so that's upper limit with respect to the memory allocated. That's as far as the predefined data types are concerned. When it comes to user-defined data type, you have structures. What we have been seeing in the last few days. It's a user-defined data type. And you have class and you have interface. Structure, class, and interfaces are typical user-defined data. Structure is a user-defined data type that comes out of procedural programming environment. Structures. Classes and interfaces are an outcome of object-oriented. Class is a user-defined data type. User-defined data type, which is created to build something in the program. But end of the day, it's a user-defined data type. Structures are also. What is a structure? Just yesterday we have seen. Right? We have created custom structures and used it. A group of fields referred by a common name. It's the idea of a structure. It falls under the category of user-defined data type. Okay, so we have data type, predefined and user-defined. Next set is operators. What are the various operators that are supported in? When it comes to operators, there are very few. Arithmetic operators: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Basic arithmetic operators. Relational: less than, greater than, less than, equal to, greater than, equal to, not equal to, equal. You can have this as English text: less than, greater than, less than, equal to, greater than, equal to, not equal to, equal. Then we have logical operators: and, or, not. Okay, these are the set of operators here. You don't have a lot of operators in dictionary data. Very restricted. The operations are also restricted for carrying out business processing. These operators are enough. You don't need sine and cosine and no integration, differentiation, and all is not needed. Okay. Okay. So that is as far as operators are concerned. Then what is the next one we have? The next one we have is the control statements. What are the different type of controls we can have when we are building a program? Always remember, this is common across programming language. You have two types of controls. One is decision control. You're controlling the flow of the program by making a choice. If the condition is true, do something, else do something else. Decision control. And the next type of control is the loop control. Okay, we have decision control and we have loop control. The decision control is responsible for, or decision control statements are the ones where you make a choice. If it is like this, do, else it is do. Decision control statements. Okay. The most popular decision control is if condition. If, else, and if. Very popular decision control statement. One more that you have is case and case. Okay, case control. This is also a kind of a choice. So when this value do like this, when this value do like this, when this value do like this, you're making a choice. Decision control statement. Then you have something called as a loop control statement. So the two popular loop controls we have is do and do, and while and while. Apart from this, yesterday, when we were discussing internal tables, we have come across one more called the loop, the loop. But this loop and the loop works only on internal tables. It's not a generic loop. It's a specific loop to loop through the body of the internal. Similarly, we will be encountering one more called select and select when we are discussing OpenSQL. This is responsible for looping through the body of a database table. Okay, that's why they are specific loops. I don't add in over here in basic loops. Do and do and while are basic loops. You can use it for anything and everything. Okay, so how does these statements work? So it is pretty simple. If condition, the condition is true, you run some statement. Else, the condition is false, we do something. And if else and if. This else and if can be extended by adding more if conditions. I can say else if another condition. Else if another condition. Like this. Else if can be used to add n number of conditions to the same if. If this is true, do like this. Else do like this. Else if do like. Else if check another condition and do. Else if check another condition. Well, ultimately you can go for a single else. So any if condition block will have one else. Else is independent. You want to have, you have. You don't want to, don't have. Okay. Only if the condition is true, I want to do. Otherwise, I don't want to do. Case variable when it is this value, do something. When it is some other value, do something. Like this, you can have when. When none of the values are matching, when others. Case and the case. So the primary difference between case and if you see is if it gives you a more wider range of conditions. I can write if A is greater than B. The condition that you are building, whereas the case will not run like that. Case will run when you upfront know some predefined values that you are expecting in the variable. I have a variable, I'm expecting A or E or I or U like that. And then I know that these are vowels. Any other, it's not a vowel. Something like that. And I upfront know what are the choices or what are the values the user is going to enter. For each of those values, how do I want to react? That is when you make use of case statement, not a condition driven application. Okay, then what we have? We have the do loop. The do loop is not driven by a condition. It is do number of times. Whereas while is driven by a condition. Say while condition and while. Okay. Let's do it on the system so that you understand it better. In order to write your ABAP programs, ABAP program is a collection of statements. Each statement consists of a keyword followed by a each statement consists of a begins with a keyword followed by the field of the keyword and end with a period. So this full stop is end of statement in ABAP. We don't use it for anything else. It indicates the end of the statement. Full stop. So it always begins with the keyword. That's what you have been noticing. few days. The first word will always be blue in color, indicating some keyword, doing something. Each statement is a action that you are building up into the program. So it is going to do something for us. Action begins with a keyword. Field is what is the action for that keyword. And then period, full stop. Okay. Give me a minute. Okay. So each statement in the ABAP program begins with a keyword, field, and some very commonly used keywords. Three prominent keywords. One is data, parameters, and right. The data is used for declaring variables. Parameter is used for variables. Okay, it is also used for declaring variables. Something more will happen with parameter. Generates a action screen into values. Okay, the parameter will give you something more. It will generate. It will generate a selection screen to input values as the additional action with parameter. Otherwise, data and parameter both are used for declaring variables. And you have the write statement. The write statement is used to generate a list output. The write statement is used to generate a list output. Data, parameter, and write. With these three basic keywords, you can do a hell of a lot of things. What you're looking at is the landing page when you log in into SAP. It's called as the easy access page. From this easy access page that we navigate to different transactions. Okay, so we come in into the easy access from here to workbench development. Here you have it. Okay, you have the ABAP editor. I want to go to the ABAP editor. Double click, take you to the ABAP editor. Okay, this is one way of navigating to a transaction. You have to use the menu path to navigate it to the transaction. Another way to navigate is to use the T code. SE38 is the T code for the ABAP. Enter SE38, it will take you to the ABAP. Okay, it will take you to the ABAP. Here you can build the programs. Okay? All custom developments. Customer namespace. What is the customer namespace? Z or Y? Okay, all custom developments should be restricted to Z or Y. You cannot go beyond Z or customer developments. All custom programs should begin with the programming Z. That's how the Z programming concept came. Z create give the name of the program, it will ask for a title, give some title for your program. Select what type of program you want. I want it to be executable program. Selected as executable program. Enter the package. What is the package? What is this package? The package is like a folder which is used for grouping up the development stuff. Package is like a folder used for grouping up the development stuff. So I give a package, click on save. When you click on save, it is asking or it is giving us what is called as a transport request. I will walk you through the details of these things. What is the transport request? Why do you need the transport? There's a concept in SAP called a system landscape. We have something called a system landscape. How is the SAP system laid out in a company? How you will have systems and how you move your developments from one system to another. Why you have to move? Why you have so many systems? And that is where this idea comes. So suppose you don't know any package, no problem. You can still work with the program. Create executable program. Click on. Now suppose I don't know any package, no problem. Just click on local object. Then save the program. No package, no transport, nothing, no issues. Okay. You can still do your ABAP development. Don't worry about the package. Z001, which I use, is a standard SAP package. This is available in all the systems. You can always use it. It is meant for customer. Okay. So this is your ABAP data. This is where you use the keyword data. So whenever you are writing your program, the first thing that you should know, how do you write comments in the program? If you put asterisk as the first character on the line will become commented. Comment. Okay, see the difference. Very first character should be star. To comment lines, you can just select the lines. Control less than is comment. Control greater than is uncomment. Control plus less than is control plus greater than is uncommon. Just select the lines and comment. So suppose I write hello world. So write is my keyword. Hello world is the field of the keyword, and full stop is the statement end. Save, check, and activate. Test. It will generate a list output. What you're looking at is a list output. Write backslash hello world. It's a write hello world on a new line. You see no much impact. In order to see the impact, I'll say write hello world. Write good morning. Write try to generate some statements. All are right. Now you're running. So my expectation is it should come on 3 lines. Reality is they will all fit in into a single line. Only when this line is completely filled, the control will go to the next line. To force the control to come to the next line, backslash. So new line. I can put all these three lines into a single write. Typically, the syntax is keyword field period. By putting a colon, I can club the three keywords or three fields into a single keyword. Hello world, comma, on a new line, dorming, comma, on a new line, full stop. So a single keyword with three fields, 1, 2, 3. How this is possible? Because of this colon, it is possible. Colon is called as a chain operator. Okay, colon is called the chain operator. Club multiple fields to a single keyword. That is its job. It will help you club multiple keywords, multiple fields to a single keyword. We use it extensively. Almost every other syntax we use this. Chain operator. Okay. Suppose I want to build some program. Say I want to build a program. I want to find the sum of two numbers. V1 self integer and V2 type integer. I want to accept two numbers from the user. Data type integer. And result is equal to V1 plus V2. On a new line, the term is save. You can activate your program. Save your program, check your program, and activate it. Three buttons are important. Save, check will check the syntax of the program. Think is syntactically correct or not. That is what it is check. You can activate it. Save, check, and activate. Okay, execute. F8 is execute. F8. Execute the program. Execute the program. These are numbers. Now, what you're looking at, is a selection screen. Okay, what we are looking at is the selection screen. This is what is generated by the parameter keyword. You wrote parameter and we are seeing the selection. So V1 and V2 are two parameters. So they are two variables for which an input screen is generated. And select the program. The sum is. Okay, understand the difference between parameter and data. See, for RES, input did not come because RES is not a parameter, it's just a data variable. Okay, so parameter and data. Say I want to build something else. I want to do one more thing. And the greatest among three numbers. What I have to do, I have to accept three numbers from the user. V1 type integer, comma, V2 type integer, comma, V3 type integer. I need to find the greatest among them. So I need to run a condition. If V1 is greater than V2 and V1 is greater than V3, right? V1 is the greatest. This condition is not true, else V2 is greater than V2 is greater than V. Okay, we don't have to check V1 once again. Okay, sorry, it's not else, it is else if. It's the next condition. Right? V2 is the. If both the conditions are not satisfying, then only one more variable is left. Right? V3 is the. Save your program, and activate the program. Okay, say check and activate the program. The program and see how it comes. Obviously, 456 is the greatest. 456 is the okay. The same way, take some loop control statement. Say I say do 10 times right and over. We know do is driven by number of. It will print hello 10 times. Okay, do is driven by number of times. Whereas while is driven by a condition. Suppose I want to print. I say program to find the factorial. Factorial is if suppose I say 5 is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 like this. That is factorial of a number. And I accept the number from the user and then the variable called while v1 is greater than 0 is equal to maximum divided by v. v1 is equal to v1 minus 1. So that reduces the value. So this while loop will run as long as the value of v1 is greater than 0. Okay, it keeps on subtracting. At some point v1 will become lesser than 0. Then it will come out. Right? The factorial is spread. So I enter 5, I'm expecting 120. The factorial is 0. This is another problem. When you declare variables in ABAP, these variables will come with default values. There's no concept of garbage value in ABAP. They come up with the default value. The variable fact has a default value 0. So when you do any multiplication with a 0, it will remain 0. You should initialize the fact to initial value 1. Factorial is 1. Okay, so that's the idea. So using the while loop. So while loop is driven by condition. Whereas do loop is driven by number of times. While loop is driven by condition. It's the difference between the while and the do. So depending on the requirement, we use different conditions. So the basic ABAP syntax is driven by these 3 basic keywords: data, parameter, and write. You want to input some values, parameter. You want to declare a variable, data. You want to generate an output, write. These are the 3 basic keywords we have. All that we have been doing till this point is handling these keywords. The only new thing that we discovered or discussed was internal tables. Discussed them and looked at what are the possibilities with internal. Otherwise, data, parameter, and write. This is what drives your ABAP. Okay, got it. So we'll stop here. Tomorrow also we will continue. We will quickly look at a few more programs, and also spend some time in the data dictionary, and then move forward. So that by the time when we are attending the next session next week, when we continue, kind of on board. Okay. Fine, Gayatri.
Yeah.
Okay. There was a bit of a confusion. Actually, I was talking to Chaitanya. I was not sure whether you are joining, not joining. Okay, he had not yet confirmed me. Okay. Then he said, the payments are to be done, or you have confirmed your joining. Then he said, okay, anyway, I will take the backup because otherwise it will impact my other class. So by this weekend, most probably one more session we may have. On Saturday also we will plan a session. Disturb your weekend on Saturday. Normally I don't take it. I take it from Monday evening to Friday evening. During the weekdays we have the class. keep the weekends free, okay, so that we can go back practice and all. So let's see how it comes up. Okay, as of now, things looks fine. Tomorrow we should be able to cover a lot more things. We should be in a position to continue normal, or else we may take one session. We'll take a call tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.